of the population of this country. So that to that extent, when you empower the youth, you have empowered the nation. So that's the driving force.
And we are quite happy that the beneficiary demonstrated happiness, enthusiasm, and readiness to ensure that they take this knowledge to the market.
We know that skill acquisition enhances productivity, and that is exactly what we have seen here today.
Participants on completion of the training were handed startup packs and cash support to commence their journey into the world of entrepreneurship. In Uyo, Kelvin Samuel, NTA News.
Economic experts have charged the new ministers to translate federal government policies and programs to alleviate poverty and create jobs in the country. They made the appeal while reacting to the creation of ministries of gas resources and marine and blue economy by the new administration. John Paul Alumina reports.
The former government, led by President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, recently created new ministries, which includes marine and blue economy, tourism, arts, culture and the creative economy, steel development, gas resources, among others. It is against this backdrop that some economic experts described the creation of new ministries as a welcome development and advised the ministers to ensure that government address the needs of the citizens.
The gas is critical because with clean energy, and gas reserve in Nigeria, our reserve is even greater than oil. So gas is the future for the economy, at least for some time until it's phased out to renewable energy. But the whole arrangement with this new administration is clumsy.
People that are designated to the gas industry will focus primarily on that area and then build up something that we, the citizen, will benefit. So I think it's a nice one. I just hope that they focus and do their job very well. And then this will also create employment for our youths.
The experts strongly advised that the federal government should holistically revamp the economy and make it viable for the citizens.
In fact, the key thing is to take care of the security. Because part of this problem we are suffering is because of food have gone up. And with the removal of the subsidy, the pressure from both ends. People don't have food to eat, people cannot move. And the few people in public offices are living like rock stars. Why on earth we will have an innocent in Nigeria and other car producing manufacturing company in Nigeria? And we know in every 4 years we will have 360 people in House of Rep, 109 people. Why don't we place other 4 years innocent? They produce this number, produce this number.
The issue of gas flaring, which has been a major concern in the country over the years. I think the ministry will also look at how to make sure that the law against the gas flaring in the world and even in Nigeria is being implemented. And we know that so much billions of nairas have been lost through gas flaring, and the eco-effect, the ecosystem effect it has on the economy, even the agri sector and the blue economy, that's the riverine and all that.
The problem is that we have not in Nigeria taken care of the mental health status of our leaders. We have not thought of that aspect in this country. Now, people are contesting election. They are winning. Like the few days I presented a paper on this. Nobody's talking about mental health issue of those that won the election. Nobody's talking about the mental health issue of those to be made ministers.
It is the hope of Nigerians that the federal government will do things differently to achieve greater results. In Uyo, John Paul Alumona, NTA News.
A new leadership has emerged for the Nigerian Union of Journalists. NTA Uyo Chapel, members of the new executive, is headed by Wisdom Jacob as chairman and were elected at the 2023 Triennial Delegates Conference. Otabai Achibon reports.
At Article 6 of the Constitution of the Nigeria Union of Journalists provides for election into the various offices within the period of 3 years, during which eligible members are expected to cast their votes for any candidates of their choice. With the expiration of the tenure of the former executive led by Comrade Charity James, it therefore became necessary for the NTUYO chapel of the NUJ to conduct fresh election. And with the voting over, Wisdom Jacob emerged to the chairman, Clement Barikwi vice chairman, Kelvin Samuel and John Paul Alumona as the secretary and treasurer respectively.
Do solemnly affirm that I will be faithful, and bear true allegiance to the NTA Chapel, Nigerian Union of Journalists, Akwa Ibom State Council.
General Manager NTUYO Mrs. Alice Ugbe congratulated the new executive members, pledging management's desire to work with them for the benefits of the station.
I know that you're going to bring your wealth of knowledge to bear in the work you're going to do that is in front of you. I'd like to sincerely congratulate you for your victory.
State Chairman NUJ Akwa Ibom State Council Comrade Amos Etuk, represented by the Secretary Mr. Dominic Akpan, commended the union for what he described as team spirit, where aspirants have displayed good sense of understanding. Chairman Credentials Committee Nsika Okon, who presided over the conference, says the outcome of the conference will define the future of the chapel.
I believe that those that have been elected, that they will carry everybody along.
Collaborate with their chairman, and the chapel will continue to grow.
What I want my people is that everyone has every right to suggest whatsoever will be good for the benefit of the members, but we will sit down collectively to take decisions, because no man is an island.
Good news messages came from Ratau NTUYO Chapel and the manager news and current affairs NTUYO Okwekbenyon.
I'm trusting that the new executive, having seen what the immediate past executive has done, would not relent in its efforts to ensure that the chapel is taken to enviable heights. And besides that, the chapel has a great name to show for it. We want tangible results.
High points were the official handing over to the new executive.
NTA Chapel was always heard. We tried our best. We had Thanksgiving with pool crowd commissioners and they came. We had seminars. We were able to repay our boss with the support of the State Council, the boss that was grounded for months. My tenure was able to open an account which the union didn't have. So I present to you the account number and the check. Believe and hope is that the new ESCO will take good care of it, handle it with care, and not do like a typical Africa or Nigerian who feels it's government property and you handle it anyhow.
Before the election, the chapel earlier held a congress to officially dissolve the former executive members.
Solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong.
In Uyo, Utube Achibong, NTA News.
For residents of communities in Itu local government's area, surviving the 2023 rains may be a miracle, following the fast pace of ravaging encroachments in their communities. Clement Barikwi reports that farmlands and residential buildings have already caved into the gully. The reports.
Itu people are majorly farmers, and this gully erosion is gradually taking away their only source of livelihood. Beyond the destruction done to farmlands, residential buildings are at the verge of being swept away by the ravine encroachment. When NTA News visited Ikoranyentam, one of the communities in the local government area under the threat of the encroachment, the community was a shadow of itself, as residents are relocating due to fear.
So we need help from the federal government to help us to rescue us. Many houses that we build around us, they cannot cope up here. They now move down to one higher house to live. That is why we said they should come to our aids.
Because we are crying, our women are crying, our little ones are crying. So we just need help from the federal government to assist us.
There were houses here, people were living here, do their businesses, farm here, living here. But because of the erosion, they are no longer here. They run away from this place to where other people are.
This is Uyoitam Ikoranse Road. The road connects more than 5 communities and local government areas whose major trade of the people is palm oil production. Regrettably, this road may not survive the 2023 rains as it is already cut into half by the encroachment. The local government council authorities say the menace is beyond them and affirms that it is making several efforts to get the attention of the federal and state governments.
At times I get scared that my entire local government, if God does not intervene, might very soon extinct. So, and also know that some of these ecological challenges are even beyond the state government. So that's why if the federal government could come to our assistance for the sake of the people of this community. In fact, for me, it will be a major development, will be a major effort towards alleviating our challenges.
While the people await a permanent solution to the gully erosion menace, providing a temporary measure could just save the day. From Itu local government area, Clement Barikui, NTA News.
In a typical Hausa society of northern part of the country, local barbers are commonly seen on streets, but what is unseen is the professor and senior lecturer with Federal University, Sinma in Katsina State. Professor Bashir Aliyu is a blend of traditional modernity, engaging in traditional barbering in his free time as side job. The report.
The 64-year-old Bashir Aliyu Sallau, professor of Hausa Cultural Studies, is a senior lecturer with the Faculty of Arts, Federal University Dusuma. He was born in Safana local government area of Katsina State. His late father, Malam Aliyu Sallau, was the chief barber of the traditional ruler of Safana district. Professor Sallau is proud to have inherited his father's occupation as a local barber. Since he started formal education in 1968, his father urged him to sustain the main occupation of the family, which is known in Hausa language as Wanzanchi. In spite of his level of education, Professor Bashir Aliyu Sallau engages in traditional barbing as a side job. He does barbing and circumcision, which indicates that there are certain elements of culture that can be used as an aspect of traditional entrepreneurship.
It was in this town that I started practicing circumcision and most aspects of traditional barbing. As it was in this town in 1979 that I circumcised the first child in my life.
Professor Sallau becomes a role model to his students and a source of pride to his colleagues in the university.
He indicates the fact that yes, we have a culture that, there are certain elements of that culture that we can, bring up as an aspect of traditional entrepreneurship.
People nowadays, they have totally abandoned our culture. And this is something we should be proud of.
Not somebody that is too pompous. Now, he's somebody that he loves everybody to be an ambassador of his society.
It's a very nice lecturer to us.
They described the development as strategic, particularly in the contemporary society where there are young people who are ignorant of their history.
Everybody will want to believe, how can I be, if I'm just an ordinary graduate, to be a barber? Not to talk of a doctor, not to talk of a professor. I think it's something that is sending, a message without salary, he can maintain his family.
During the protracted strike in 2021 and 2022, a lot of our colleagues have suffered a lot in their lives. So people like Professor Bashir Aliu Sallau, who have another Tinzuin, actually they have not suffered. He has even confessed it.
The story of Professor Sallau shows the importance of promoting cultural heritage which the society have in the history to a level that economic base could be created.
64-year-old widow and mother of three, Taiwo Olawipo, has been rendered homeless following her alleged eviction from her late husband's house in Ilorin. Hamed Fulani reports that the situation of the widow, who is also a pensioner, is very pathetic. The report.
That was Taiwo Olawipo crying on the day she was allegedly evicted from her home. This is the house that Mrs. Olawipo said she inherited from her husband who died 6 years ago. The house, according to the woman's first child, was bought by her late father about 31 years ago. On getting to a Ajegule residence of Mrs. Olawipo's eldest child in Ebejila area of Ilorin, I was received by the 64-year-old widow with tears rolling down her cheeks as she narrated her present predicament. She is now temporarily homeless following her eviction out of the house allegedly bought by her late husband 30 years ago by an agency in charge of government properties. She sees her eviction as not only illegal but also dehumanizing, especially with the case still before a magistrate court with a plea to the state government and other stakeholders not to usurp what was bequeathed to her and her children.
I will not collect my gratitude, and if they still remain, I will be paying them monthly. No money for me to rent a house, nowhere for me to go. See all my load outside. Even where I kept the others, I don't know what is happening to my load there. There is nothing. My husband did not have anything. That is the only thing he has.
I begged the people that came, they said it is the order from the state government that they should drive her outside. The house belongs to the state government. I'm pleading to Governor Abdurrahman Abdurazak, he's a father.
My quest to unravel more truth on the matter took me to the office of Harmony Holdings Limited in Ilorin, where the acting MD says the house in question was let out on rent and not sold to late Mr. Olawipo by the then Kwara Property and Investment Development Company. Harmony Holdings, according to her, secured a valid court judgment and subsequent order to evict her from the house in question.
There was a time the wife came, or sometimes in 2009 or 2010, that she wanted to buy the house and she was given the bill to buy the house, but unfortunately she could not meet up with the bill, so she was paying rent. It is rent they were paying all this while.
Counsels to both defendant and plaintiff gave their positions on the court judgment concerning the matter.
Summary of all we are saying is that if at all you feel you have obtained a judgment and the other party is saying he is aggrieved, he has that constitutionally guaranteed right of appeal.
He filed an appeal on 6th February 2023. That was 60 days after the constitutionally guaranteed period he could file appeal. So it was basically on that ground, coupled with my own objection, the learned magistrate struck out the application.
The house is currently under lock and key and in the custody of Harmony Holdings Limited, pending further hearing on the matter. Ahmad Fulani, NT News.
Let's now join Olalekoye on sports updates.
Kigiga Bomo has emerged winner of the 2023 North Central Chess Championship, which ended Saturday at the Goodluck Ebele Athletes Hostel of the Package B section of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja. Organizers of the week-long event says it is part of efforts to further discover talents from all the geopolitical zones in the country, as mandated by the Nigeria Chess Federation.
It comes with a lot of practice. I've been competing lately this year in almost all the zonal competitions and been always runner-up. This is the first zonal competition I'm winning this year.
It's a grassroots development and also serve as a qualifier for our national championship. So it is the effort of the zonal rep on the board.
To football, Bendel Insurance are through to the second round of the 2023-2024 CAF Confederation Cup after a hard-fought victory over Aso Clef of Algeria. Going into the game with a 1-0 win last weekend in Benin, Aso Clef scored 1-0 to take the game to penalties. The Benin Arsenal progressed after a 4-3 penalty shootout win over the hosts. Meanwhile, Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki has congratulated the team for achieving the feat and charged the team to continue to put Edo State on the continental map. Recall that the governor was also on ground to send the team forth to Algeria a few days ago. In boxing, British boxer Daniel Dubois said he felt cheated out of victory after his heavyweight world title challenge ended in defeat by Ukrainian Oleksandr Usyk on a dramatic night in front of 40,000 fans in Poland. Dubois, who was seen as an underdog, floored the champion in a controversial fifth round, with Usyk wincing in pain on the canvas. But the referee ruled the shot, which appeared to land on the belt line, as a low blow, allowing Usyk to regain control and dropped Dubois with a shot in the 8th. With the win, Usyk retained his undefeated record, winning a 21 professional bout to keep hopes of a blockbuster fight with Tyson Fury. With sports updates, Olalekan Kilajolu, NTA News.
That's where we end the news. Thanks for staying tuned.